The Old Man and the Little Tree. In a small village surrounded by green hills, there lived an old man named Thomas. He was 75 years old and lived alone in a small wooden house near the edge of the forest. Thomas was known by everyone in the village as a kind and gentle person. Every morning, he walked through the village with his old walking stick, greeting people with a warm smile. The children loved him because he always had interesting stories to tell about his younger days. One day, while walking near the forest, Thomas found a small tree that had fallen to the ground after a strong storm. The little tree was broken and its roots were almost out of the soil. Thomas looked at the tree and said, "You are small, but you still have a chance to grow." He carefully lifted the tree, planted it in a safe place near his house, and watered it every day. The villagers laughed and said, "Thomas, you are an old man. Why are you wasting your time on a small tree? You may never see it become big." Thomas smiled and replied, "A person should not only do things for themselves. Sometimes we plant seeds for people we may never meet." Days turned into months, and months turned into years. Thomas continued to take care of the tree. He protected it from animals, gave it water during dry seasons, and talked to it as if it were his friend. The little tree slowly grew taller and stronger. Its branches spread wide, and beautiful green leaves covered it. Birds began to build nests on its branches, and children from the village started playing under its shade. Many years later, Thomas became very old. He could no longer walk as far as he used to, so he spent most of his time sitting under the tree he had planted. One afternoon, a young boy from the village came and sat beside him. The boy looked up at the huge tree and asked, "Grandfather Thomas, did you plant this tree?" Thomas smiled and said, "Yes, I planted it when it was just a small, weak tree." The boy looked surprised. "But you were already old then. How did you know you would live long enough to enjoy its shade?" Thomas laughed softly and said, "I planted it because I believed someone would enjoy it someday." Life is not only about what we receive, it is also about what we leave behind. The boy thought about those words for a long time. A few years later, Thomas passed away peacefully. The whole village came together to remember the old man who had taught them kindness, patience, and hope. The tree continued to stand tall at the center of the village. Generations of children played under its branches. Travelers rested beneath its shade, and birds sang in its leaves. Everyone who saw the tree remembered Thomas and his simple lesson. Even the smallest act of kindness can grow into something beautiful that lasts forever. And from that day on, the villagers planted trees, helped others, and always remembered the old man who planted a tree not for himself, but for the future.